welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips Podcast. I'm your host, Rod. Joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live on a Saturday, ready to do feedback. Of course, feedback is the episode where we talk about the things you had to say throughout the week, and you guys had plenty of things to say. The official weapon of the show is
phone chair,
and the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
And bullet ball, extreme. And we're gonna get into it because listen, okay, we got things to talk about. You guys left plenty of stuff to say. It was a lot of stuff. So
did we say something that important?
We might as well get right into it. I think we did 3 or 4 episodes this week, and I remember doing it for the gram. So we'll try to see if we have enough time to fit that in, but it just depends on y'all, really. If we have a lot of voicemails and y'all had to call 3-4 times and stuff, we'll push it to Monday. We'll play it by ear. But the first people want to shout out are the people who gave us money.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tied to the Black Friday tips.
New day, new pay. Alexis H, Tanya S, Marlon B, yes, Marlon B, Josh, Wonga from Down Under, Dostra J, Shirley Wong Esquire, please say the Esquire, Tiffany B, Palmetto Stone Magic, Alfonso M, J Full, Autumn W, Jasmine J, Kyle K, James C, and David C. Thank you, everybody that took the time to put a little change in our pocket, to put your hand next to our face and say, "What's that behind your ear?" Oh, look at that.
Sweet.
Go Tambourine. All right. We had 1 5-star review this week. It was from Gator Godot, who says, favorite podcast. The Blackout Tips has become our most anticipated podcast. Rod and Karen are wonderful. Brian K. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
And we love to be the most anticipated. Okay. We love that. Waiting on us.
Y'all be waiting on us to talk about our nonsense.
Wait on us to drop like the shoe release on the shoes app, on the Nike app. I hear you. We appreciate you.
We do.
And that's all you got to say. You don't have to write nothing long. We appreciate it.
You can do emojis.
Yeah.
And bitmojis. Shit, we'll take that too.
Remember, haters never take a day off, but we don't have to acknowledge them. But the people that love and show love, we appreciate y'all.
We do.
That's what makes it, so worthwhile and so fun. All right. Episodes throughout the week, we got to talk about them and the comments on them and the whole rigmarole that we go through every week. The first one is Republican Upper Lip, which was a feedback episode about my had Revis my lip shaving accident. And of course, it's growing back. It's not all the way back yet, but it's getting there. It's respectable. Now people know I'm trying. They don't think I did it on purpose. And I just hate blacks.
It's like, it must be trying to grow it back. Oh,
yeah. So Republican Upper Lip. Let's see. We had a lot of comments. Appia was the first. He says, now with him leaving KTG, I'm extra happy that I found the black guy who tips. Now she put TBGHT, but it's TBGWT.
That's hilarious.
But English is like her 3rd or 4th language, so I get it. But I'm happy that I found the Blackout Tips as a main podcast in my life. You are really great people, and I hope you are surprised how well I have behaved overall. I'm actually not that surprised. I mean, I can't listen. I love Keith Malley, but I can't let Keith Malley be the arbiter of how I evaluate all people in life and stuff, because I have to leave some room for myself to evaluate things for myself. Imagine if I just went along with whatever he said, movie was good or bad. I'd be an insane person. It would be a cult. I have to be myself. And so even, when there's people that, he may have an issue or bump back and forth. Now I find most of y'all bumping back and forth to be quite comical and good hearted. I don't know if he, really is that frustrated, but I keep this. So it's like I'm not. You got a clean slate if you come over to the Blackout Tips. Is now if you would have started acting the way that gets on Keith's nerves towards us, and it would have been like a real, adversarial thing. We don't necessarily do that with our audience, all the time. So it just takes a while. Like I think it's best to build up to the adversarial, good-natured ribbon than to just come in off the top rope. But you've been fine over here. We've enjoyed you, Appia. And we have our people. EVE fake gets on my nerves. But it's all love.
It is.
Shoe Booty says I've converted another KTG fan to the Blackout Tip side. Not both of us channeling Karen and going, "Oh no," when telling stories. So are you saying you converted Appia? Like Appia, Shoe Booty was over here first, and then Appia was like, "Oh, let me check out some KTG because my girl Shoe Booty over here." And then boom, y'all both over here. Or is there like another third KTG fan that's
out there
unnamed?
somewhere?
I don't know. It's getting complicated. Shoe Booty says, oh, and then Appia left another comment, of course. I'm not even sure if the US was the worst with COVID. It wasn't great, that's for sure, but we don't have such good data from other countries. People died there. No one even tried to find out the reason behind it. And for those who wanted it, there was a vaccine available in the US because the government bought it. Other countries didn't even offer one or offered the Russian questionable one.
Right. When a lot of people's like, I'm not taking that shit.
Shoe Booty said we might not have been the worst, but we definitely were the dumbest.
We was in the top 5.
Appia says,
and not 5.
I'm not even sure about that, but it's hard to compare dumbness. There's no real scale. Other people in the world can also be pretty dumb when they don't allow women to read and write, for example, is not helping fight dumbness. I lived in 2 countries, and now I learned by listening to podcasts a lot of how Americans see themselves. What I can say with my lived experiences is that many countries think they are the worst. Sometimes in Germany, to put the own country down, they compare something to the US to say something is better there. Yesterday, I heard a lady who owns a consulting company for people with heartbreak from love on a podcast saying that Americans are more ready to spend money on individual health stuff. Ready? Or do they have no choice? And here, most stuff is covered by insurance, but not her consulting for heartbreak.
Correct. We have to. A lot of people fail to realize a lot of the shit we do is because we have to, not because we want to and or choose to. The system is designed that way.
Thinking your country is the worst is similar to thinking it is the best. Here's my philosophical take. No matter where you live, the problems of that country are the worst to you because they are affecting you directly. I can pretty well compare Poland and Germany, but that's it. Other countries, I don't know. There are objectively bad places for women like Afghanistan because of the law, but in other countries, I suspect the problems are often similar. Life is hard for everyone. I mean, that is a pretty deep philosophy. I would only push back in saying that a lot of times when people say something is the worst where they live, it depends on what they're talking about. So I would say if someone said America, like you listen to this podcast, you listen to a lot of American podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to catch a lot of American podcasts saying America is the worst place on earth for women. But it's not a thing that's said. Like we know that there's objectively worse places.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's simply a myopic navel gazing situation where we just think everything's the best or the worst about America. We don't call America the worst on a lot of things. I think there's things that I don't think we're the worst. I would rather live here than other places. In a lot of cases, there's a lot of nuance too, where something could be bad here, but or good here, but there's places that do better than us.
Agreed.
And so I think we at the Blackout Tips do a pretty fair job of not falling into the nationalism or the sensationalism of America and the patriotism of it. We don't really say America's the best at anything. We don't really necessarily say America's the worst at anything. Just in general as like a catch-all. But there are things where I think we are objectively the worst.
Yes, we are.
And I can't go by living in every country. So I could no human being on earth can do that. No one's lived everywhere. So I can't go by that, but I can go by, the data I'm aware of, the stories I'm aware of, the cultures and the other people I know, social media, stuff like that. And I would say I wouldn't say America's response to COVID was the worst, but our outcomes were were considering the bounty of things, resources we have, and the outcome of not just deaths, but living here with the pure ignorance and adversarial nature of about probably not even half, but I'd say somewhere between 25% to a third of the country. And you as a medical expert, as a person that deals with this type with diseases, it was something as infectious as COVID. It doesn't take 30% of people. Like, that's such a great percentage of people who are like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm not shutting anything down, not changing anything. I'm denying that it's COVID. I'm spreading misinformation about it. We're not listening to any health experts. We're starting conspiracies against the CDC and Dr. Fauci and stuff. Well, we lived through that over here, and it was a very loud amount of ignorance that I think actually made our response. It really did hurt our response, and led to a lot more deaths than we should have had.
Agreed.
And I think when we look at other countries, a lot of times we're looking at, like say a Japan, a Korea, something like that, Germany also, who had much better responses. Now, look, I can't be aware of every country. There's got to be countries where it was worse and all this stuff. But I think we're talking, in the general way we were talking, I believe that saying this country had some of the worst responses is not, and some of the worst results is not just a numbers situation. It's a what we had versus the outcome that we have been living with, as opposed to other countries that have much less, just systemically, GDP, all that stuff. They have less, and they had less death and percentage wise per capita because they just had less citizens who felt like, I got to be against this shit. I know Australia also had a lot of really heavy anti vaccine, anti whatever, but a lot of that stuff is because Australia's so rural. People aren't necessarily always grouped up on each other like in America with some of these cities and shit. So it was, so even then it wasn't as bad, but Australia's government clamped down. Like, it's like, hey, you can't just be flying on planes and going out in and out the country. They clamped down compared to us. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's like such a crazy take to go, America had the worst response to COVID, and not mean it in a purely literal way, but to mean it in a, with the resources America has and the fucking resistance and the mismanagement of the pandemic, it was the worst. It was the worst overall. Shoe Booty says, I thought the Terrence Howard impression was hilarious because it was bad. Yeah, I don't think it's a good impression. Yeah, the attempt is the funniness. Like, that's the thing about impressions, man. Like, there's a few people on earth that are good at them, where you listen to them and you go, God damn, that if I close my eyes, I would think that person was in the room with me. I ain't got that. I think I got a couple that I hit on that's all mostly luck. And then there's ones I like to do because it's funny to me to be bad at the impression.
Yeah, I have several that I like, and then normally like video skits, and that's because I just memorize them word for word. So I just really like to repeat them in phrases and things like that. That's the job. Shit like that. I don't sound nothing like that one, but I love to say that phrase.
I would say that's different than an impression, though.
Okay.
I think an impression is like, like if I read something and I try to read it as if I'm Stephen A. Smith. Or
okay,
I'm with you, Terrence Howard or whatever. Or even if you just make it up off the top of the head, like, I think that's a little bit different. But yeah, impressions are hard to do and not normally any good. But sometimes the funniness is that they're not good, and they funny to me.
Yes, sir.
So I will continue to try to do bad impressions. My kid,
I'm here for it.
My kid just did a school craft to mark the 100th day of school, where they do a thing where they write their goals for when they're grown-ups, and hers was be a teacher, own a house, and pay taxes. And my husband did not miss a beat when he said she's got loftier goals than Terrence Howard. I can't with these fools. That's hilarious. Also, like, man, I hope there'll be a day where you can be a teacher in America, own a house, and pay taxes.
Yeah.
Like,
I had the same goals as your baby, but I just said, and like, "Whoa, y'all don't pay teachers enough. Whoa, I can't buy no house with no teacher salary."
yeah, the way we don't respect the teachers here is
Right.
crazy. We don't want to pay them, and
basically, you want to be babysitters, then you don't want to have to be able to do any form of discipline. And now you have, then people complain when you have teachers cowering in the corner, and people go, "Why don't you have common sense?" A lot of it's been stripped out because don't touch my kid, don't blink at my kid, don't say nothing to my kid. You can't say shit to the kid. The children act out, and then in this country we're punitive, so we're going to skip over like the avenues to help the kids out. And then
I like that. I was talking about the financial needs of teachers, and you went to like, you can't beat these kids no more. I mean, what's the teacher supposed to do? You can't even like put your hands on the kids. That is not what I'm saying.
I know. I went off on a tangent.
That's not why it's tough to be a teacher to me. Is you can't like kick the kids' ass or put them in line.
And I don't want you to.
I'm saying money wise, we don't pay them.
Right.
So saying I want to own a house and pay taxes and be a teacher in America is like, hey, good. I hope you marry a rich person.
Good luck to you all.
I hope you find a good mate, because I don't know if you've seen the economic reality, but it ain't looking too good for the teachers over here.
No, it ain't.
And yeah, it is tough to be a teacher on the other levels that you brought up. The schools being, people being against teaching certain topics, and they want you to carry a gun in case a mass shooter's going
right,
there.
Stupid shit. You like, bitch, all I wanted to do was teach the kids.
Yes, this is a wild place to try to be a teacher.
Right.
Evie says, I didn't watch the State of the Union because I knew I'd get the highlights the next day on social media. Plus, I can't stomach seeing the disrespect of the right, which is just performative for their crazy base. Did you see the clip where Joe Biden comes face to face with Marjorie Taylor Greene after his speech? And she didn't have shit to say to him, but he was standing there. What a bunch of clowns. She's the queen of boogers. Yeah, I did see that clip. And I honestly laughed at it just because Joe Biden it was so fucking funny. He had the same face you make when you're an adult and you see a toddler like try to do something to impress you, like oh, look at this dance, and you like, oh, you fake, like, oh, the dance, good job.
They've done it 10,000 times. And
so I'm gonna see if I can pull it up for y'all. But his face was so funny to me because it was like it was like that fake, oh, I'm scared of you, but it was
right.
mostly just looking at her ridiculous drip, like,
yes,
this what you think is smart to wear out the house. But yeah, look at his face. He's like, oh, what the fuck? And then it pans over to her in that fucking drip. But Joe Biden funny as shit, dog.
He is, though.
Like, real talk, he's a funny motherfucker.
Yes, he is.
He just old, so people ain't, it's bigger things that people are worried about and talking about.
Yes.
He's had a lot of funny ass moments. Like, he roasted them Republicans during that speech, and I was laughing.
Yes, he did.
Anyway, and he anticipated all the like clap back and interruptions. Like, it was like they was really well done.
Yeah, they had prepared him for that, and great writers. Like, you could tell this was a group project, and it was like, we will not fail.
Yeah, so I thought he delivered it well and all that stuff, but I also just feel like we're living in such a polarized time. Part of me almost didn't watch it, and part of the reason I almost didn't watch it is the same reason I talk about a lot of stuff where I feel like, what am I doing here? I know how I'm voting, and the ridiculousness of the other shit that is happening in America, this post-serious society we live in, it's hard to even get up for this shit where you just like, oh, did they interrupt them again? Were they wearing fucking Make America Great Again pins and shit like idiots, So I feel you on being like, I don't want to watch this shit. It's annoying. All right, let's see. Comments on our YouTube. For this one, 3 comments. Smart Dave says, you should keep the Lieutenant Worf look, Rod. I like it. Thank you, Smart Dave. You're not the only person that said they liked it. A few people thought it looked good. I just don't like it. It's not for me, But you try new things sometimes, and I guess this is a new thing. So just save the pictures that was up already, because I'm growing my facial hair back. Sorry. Katura says, I appreciate that you addressed the elephant in the room one time. It will grow back though. Thank you. Interloper Chocolate City says, love the natural flow of the show. Nubians forever. Shout out to the Nubians. Okay.
Thank you.
We do love that. And lastly, we got the poll. Did you watch State of the Union? 43% yes, 57% no.
I guess it's yes, because Roger had on the background, but if it weren't for that, the answer would have been no.
And on Spotify, 26% yes, 74% no. Yeah, and I'm not making any assumptions about people, because I'm not casting any negative aspersions on people that didn't watch it, because I truly do feel like we're at a point where if you don't know what's at stake and what's going on right now, I don't know what to tell you.
The same.
And so if you were waiting for the State of the Union to do something for you, I don't know that it was going to do that.
Yes, sir.
The people I've seen that it has had an effect on are all people that were Biden naysayers and detractors, and lowered the bar so far for him that as long as he didn't trip up the stairs, he was going to have a great night. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I guess for you, it was, he's really full of energy and he's really making some cogent points and he's feisty. But for me, I was like, yeah, I know. We saw that already. I just because you see some memes or some clips go around online, that's not, you can tune in and watch a press conference. You can watch him deliver his marks and shit. We know what's at stake here. I'm not really sure what's left to say.
Right. And a lot of times, sometimes I think and we talked about it before, the anxiety economy. Sometimes I think the media gets bored and there's nothing to do, because he is the type of president where he's like, I'm doing my fucking job. So a lot of the shit today and the crumbs that Trump consistently threw out that they could just pick up and run with the stories and shit, they don't have that no more. So after a while, for a lot of them, because news has to be entertainment, you get to the bottom of the barrel. So this is when we get Joe Biden's too old. This is when we get he's fragile. This is when we get the bullshit about the half of a percentage of black men not gonna vote for him. We get that bullshit because they have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, and I think the good news is that a moment like this gives the media something else and gives people something else to look at, as opposed to just being like, well, the narrative is black people don't support him. It's like, well, now you actually have something of substance to talk about.
Right.
And let's see how long you talk about it. And it won't be long. Because they want to move back to, and no one's going to vote for this man.
Yep.
Are we free yet? Was the Q&A.
Great question.
Kisha says, free from what? I don't have student loan debt anymore, so yes. Raphael says, freedom can only be attained when men stop drinking water. Men must eat water. That's what brother Nick Cannon was talking about, feeding our boys freedom. Then they'll free our black queens freedom. But which black queens? The chocolate black queens or the caramel black queens?
Because there is a difference now.
Because Nick Cannon believe in that bullshit. So it's an order and a ranking to the freedom.
You fed them. Yeah, you fed them. But did you feed them freedom? Yeah.
Andrew Butt says, not yet. He took that pretty technically. Leash says, I didn't watch State of the Union. I just wait for Rod's recap. Well, it's interesting. I don't feel like I really recapped it that much. I watched it. It was good. Hell no, says Ignacio. And Redro44 says, I had to run to watch the podcast video after that intro. It's giving Star Trek Mirror Universe. This version of Rod doesn't tip. Evil twin. Back again. All right. Next episode is 2870. These nuts.
We are not serious with these names, y'all.
Abia says, I don't have the challenge of new facial hair, but I'm waiting for it. I'm as old as Rod. My hair got me once in the past when I was in my early 20s. I was blonde for 2 years. Then I got tired with all the chemicals and wished for my dark hair to be back. It came back with gray hair. It said, bitch, you want to get brighter hair? I give you white hair, the most bright. You're welcome. Now I give it brown henna overnight or every couple of weeks and try not to make it mad.
Oh,
I hear you. that's I think the gray hair looks good on a lot of people though, but
Mhm.
that's just me. And I you know, I'm not telling people what to do with their
Mm-mm.
hair, obviously.
Yeah, but
But a
do.
lot of times I think, and I don't think I'm alone. I think a lot of people think that shit, but I don't know, man. Vanity's a motherfucker. It's like how people think glasses look sexy on a lot of people, but if they have to wear glasses, there's like a weird inside voice of like, oh God, no,
Right.
I can't let people see me in glasses. They'll think I read or my eyes aren't perfect or something. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of hot sometimes. Anyway? That's just EVE says when you played the clip of that Katie Britt person, I thought you were playing an SNL parody. I didn't realize it was that bad. No wonder she getting roasted. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like she made that video so SNL could make that sketch.
She made she made it to be roastable.
It's so
Yes.
bad.
It's terrible.
Whoever thought it was good? Like, we need to get her out here in front of America. She gonna give a good rebuttal to Joe Biden. And I know what it really is. If we want to get on a deep philosophical level, it's actually about the gateway to get white women back at the row. Is the idea of sex trafficking, protecting children, sexual assault, stuff like that. And the huge irony being, what is their ultimate ask? To vote for Trump, a dude who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, who's accused of sex trafficking, sexual assault, a man who's been convicted of sexual assault, lost 2 judgments at least in that, owes millions of dollars for that. And a guy that is a misogynist, talks about grabbing out of pussy. Their solution to protect children and women is to put him in office, which is such an insane, hypocritical point. I think people haven't even made the connection.
Right.
You know, maybe they have, and I haven't been consuming that content.
It doesn't make
but I'm
sense.
saying it right here. I don't know how anyone could sit there and take her seriously. You know,
Agreed. Why would you?
Yeah, there's another woman who gave another Republican who got grilled in an interview when she was asked about, hey, you're a sexual assault survivor. You talk about, being anti, these rapists and shit. How do you square that with supporting Trump, a man who's been convicted, and then lost another judgment against E. Jean Carroll, and she acted like she was the victim. She was like, how dare you ask me that? You are re-victimizing me as a rape victim. And it's like that, that's not what happened at all.
That's just to deflect and not want to answer the question.
These people are craven and cowardly.
Yes,
and they hide behind those white women tears to act like you can't interrogate their logic and their complicity. Because they are complicit in this shit.
Yes, they are.
Those GOP voting white women are complicit in every fucking
part
thing
of a problem
that
too.
is happening
Right.
that is bad when it comes to their policies.
They don't want to take no responsibility for that bullshit.
They're not passive victims of this shit. They want to be seen as victims, but when you challenge them and say, okay, so how are we going to get out of this cycle of violence and oppression and all this stuff while voting for violent oppressors? They ain't got shit to say except, how dare you? I'm a crying white woman. How dare you? But Evie says, I love when you do white people news and Karen doesn't know who any of the people are. It makes my day, especially when you mention Kate Middleton and she was like, she just have a baby. I laughed and laughed. Don't ever change, Karen. You are the best.
Thank you.
Shoe Booty says, not a scorpion, but I got bit by fire ants in a hotel in North Carolina. I'm from New Jersey. Don't know shit about no fire ants. Didn't occur to me that I could just sue. Just ask for a new room. First of all, I'm from North Carolina. I've never been in a place where fire ants were inside.
They've always been outside. I always seen them bitches outside.
So I would have been shocked and not known I could sue either. And that's crazy. Fire ants ain't no joke.
And they will eat your ass up. I've seen them crawl from underneath the ground, like they have like heels and shit. You don't want to fuck with no fire ants.
Yeah, I've been bitten by fire ants before. The thing about fire ants, if I remember correctly, is that they don't bite you. They don't bite you at like right away. Some of them crawl on you and then they release like a scent and then they all start fucking you up together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was a kid. I was playing in a sandbox at the local at this school that my mom would go walking on the track. And like, it wasn't like I got bit once. I got bit a bunch of fucking times. I was like, get the fuck off of me. Oh my God, it's so scary. Shoe Booty says, are all rays stingrays? I swam with rays in Discovery Cove in Florida. I am a white woman guilty of befriending all animals. I am white woman guilty of befriending all animals. I don't know if all rays are stingrays, but
it's in the name, so even though they probably like, we are the friendly ones. I don't care, bitch. You all say sting in the name somewhere.
I don't know. There might, because there's manta rays. I don't know if they can sting, so I don't know that all rays are stingrays. Okay. What I'm saying is the article we read was stingrays. New encounter at Zoo Tampa allows you to get into the water with stingrays. So I'm gonna just say no on that.
I'm gonna get that and they know.
In other white people news, I can't imagine why this Kate Middleton shit is like catnip to us, but we are all here for this. This is what we watch The Crown for. This is why we listen to all the murder podcasts and shows. White chicks gonna get to the bottom of this.
They're gonna solve the mystery.
Well, y'all are combined. If my Twitter is any indication, which maybe is not, is skewed to me, but Black people are joining hands with the white women.
Everybody trying to get to the bottom of this one.
Now, unfortunately, I don't think the white women and the Black people are on good terms, because there were some white women who chose to be on the Kate Middleton side and denigrate Meghan, and they don't like Meghan Markle, and they think she should have never stolen away the beautiful, handsome, white Vanilla King, Prince Harry.
Well, come on, Vanilla King. They was like, how dare you?
Absconded with him to her witch castle in Canada and hung out with Tyler Perry. So like, there's a lot of resentment, and I see a lot of back and forth where there's fighting between the white women and the Black people, because it's like, oh, now y'all care. And I saw, the Crown seemed like they tried to capitalize on that, because they put out an article talking about how it was Meghan Markle's attitude or some shit that made Kate Middleton go into hiding. It was just some weird shit like that, where like they're trying to divide and conquer, because they know for a lot of white women there's an animosity towards Meghan Markle that will supersede any amount of logic.
Right.
Meaning, this motherfucker's not even in the goddamn country. That ain't got nothing to do with why this woman. She ain't been in the country for like a year or two.
Time. People died and shit. She was like, I ain't going.
This woman is motherfucking missing. What the fuck are we talking about? What does this even got to do with Meghan Markle? Anyway, Brooklyn Shoebase says, I can't swim, so I'll look at stingrays from the shoreline. Yeah, I can, and I'm still doing the same. Not fucking with no stingray, nigga. What? I didn't even know you could die by stingray until it killed the greatest white man animal lover of all time. I'm not, if it'll fuck him up and he love him,
that's what I said. I was like, oh no, bitch.
I'll eat the fuck out of stingray. Okay, they put a stingray sushi roll on the menu. I'll order it.
Oh,
they can sense that. They can sense that. They know to sting me and kill me.
I'm the problem.
I'm a predator. I probably look like a seal to them. Like, oh, this nigga trying to eat us. Pamela M8 says Vinland Saga was brutal. I always keep an ear out for your show recommendations, and I whipped through those 2 seasons last month. Wonderful story. Hope to see more one day.
Yes, Vinland Saga was great. And sound like it's gonna be season 3, and bitch, I can't wait. Woo, child, I cannot wait to see them traveling to that island.
Yeah, I definitely need to see more of. I mean, honestly, to be honest, if it ended after season 2, I would have also been fine, because for me, Thorfinn is the greatest fucking character, like maturation I've ever witnessed in like anime and stuff, outside of probably like reading a novel or something. I've just never seen a character go from what we saw of Thorfinn in the beginning to also still being as compelling a character, as stilly reserved, as dogmatic, because he had that dog in him. He is, even with his character change, and the only reason I'm not going into details is I just don't want to spoil it, because it needs to hit y'all if you're gonna watch it. Some of y'all won't, but if you're gonna watch it, it's got to hit you the same way it hit us, or it's not gonna hit if I'm like, and then this part happened, and then you're like, oh, that's what happened. It won't hit the same. But oh my god, what a fucking I love that show.
It's a roller coaster ride. I can tell you that much.
And in third season, I want to see Thorkel because
Yeah.
we just kind of dropped him in season 2.
Yes, because
and he was a very compelling character in the first season.
yeah, because when the end, I think I was like, hey, they never brought him back. Like, what's happening? And then I was like, yeah, he gonna be a motherfucking beast.
No comments on YouTube on this one, so let's go to the polls. Would you swim with stingrays? Yes or no? 9% of our audience, yes. 92% no.
No, I do the seals, but no, not the stingrays.
I don't think I would swim with seals either, to be honest. Seals. Everybody think these animals not wild. I don't know what the fuck wrong with people. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with y'all. It's not what white people have fed us media to make us think these motherfucking animals want to kick it with us, and they don't. Like, it's only like one animal just got to go animal one time before we all go, oh fuck yeah, a seal. Obviously, a seal don't give a fuck about how cute we think it is. You know, them sea lions, when them sea lions was rolling up on people last year, man, shit got real. They killed that one sea lion because it was just like taking over their boats. Like, bitch, I live here now. And you know what it is when you roll up on it? It's a lot more lion than sea. You like, oh shit. Oh, okay. That's why they call them that. And I'm not gonna be able to get on my boat today, am I?
Nope. Be like, that's your boat. Okay. All right. I keep paying the payments until you decide you want to go somewhere else.
Every fucking animal in the animal kingdom is pretty much that more scary than a human. We are not really designed for outside. We got these thumbs.
We are not.
We have ridden these opposable thumbs as far as they could go. And that's good for us. We've ridden this brain thing. It's worked out for us. But you look at all the stuff that animals have to protect themselves and to be
naturally
out there
designed.
We have to build it. Okay. Yeah. We don't have an exoskeleton. We have walls. Okay.
Come on.
This is what the fuck we do.
We don't have skin that repels and skin with poison and shit, so we don't get AIDS. We ain't got that.
We don't got fur. We got clothes.
Right.
Okay. We don't got like we can't open our mouths like a dog and cool our whole insides. No, we got AC. We got fans. We built lights. We can't see at night. We got flashlights. We are not built for this shit. And a well fucking organized or just well-intentioned rabbit squirrel could take your motherfucking ass out. I've seen cats put motherfuckers in a goddamn chokehold.
Put you in the fucking hospital.
Grown ass men. I'm not talking about hospital. I'm saying I've seen videos of cats make a grown ass man cry because it's just a fucking house cat that just decided like, you my bitch today. You're not getting out this garage.
You was strapped in here with me, nigga.
I hope you didn't think that I wouldn't fuck you up just because you feed me. Like, we not built for the pit bulls. Like, we not built for none of this shit. So no, not swimming with the fucking stingrays, not swimming with the sea lions, the fucking rapist dolphins. I'm good, dog. If I see it coming around, I'm cool, bro. I'm sure it's nice to everyone else. I don't want to be the one that it decided today is the day I'm ripping dicks off. Anyway, 17% of people on Spotify say they would swim with the stingrays. 83% say no. The Q&A was these nuts. Bokai says Bofa. Yatunde says Black Women's Guide to Menopause is a podcast. They also have an IG page. And this is why I talk the way I fucking do. Because people be on here, mostly Karen, but people be on here.
Just at me next time. You trying to call me out of my bullshit?
People be on here just saying shit. And because she's cute and adorable, y'all think it's no big fucking deal. And then,
thank you, baby. I'll go check out the podcast.
If I hadn't have said shit, someone would have wrote in and been like, y'all, not Karen, y'all
not Karen.
Act like no one is doing this work in this space for Black women. Y'all erased the platform of Black women who are talking about menopause. And I went, of course there's already some Black people doing this shit because there's always some there's nothing you can come up with niggas ain't doing. Agreed. And I mean even despicable shit I hate. If I was like, it's a podcast called Niggas for Trump. It's out there.
Yeah, it is.
It's somebody out there with the t-shirts. It's just what it is. So when we're like, and no one's doing this, hey, I know you're on your soapbox. I know you're ranting. I know you're feeling good. But let's just rein it in a little bit. We just got to keep it factual. That's it. Anyway, Black Women's Guide to Menopause. If you guys want to check out that podcast.
Thank you.
Ernest says, smoother than Jif and fresher than Planters. My peanuts exceed all the standards. Hashtag we got hats now. Raphael says, what if these nuts been stuck in a time bubble all this time and never realized that it was well past time to move on from that name? Nah, these nuts crazy. Yeah, I wonder if we really haven't replaced these nuts with a different joke. It's been
I love a good D's nuts joke. I don't know why. I'm 12. It will always fucking be funny to me.
It's just interesting that we don't have a thing that's nothing culturally has superseded these nuts.
Nothing.
Coach Malik says women's college b-ball has been so good. Me and my daughters are quick to turn off the men's game. That said, F Duke, can't wait for both tournaments. It's my favorite time of the year. Yeah, I see that my boys is doing good in the ACC tournament right now, and some of these other teams went out early. It's looking like UNC might be able to get that 1 seed, which means we wouldn't have to face UConn up in New York and shit, which would be awesome. And yeah, man, I mean, as much as excited as you can be for college age players,
right?
I feel like this UNC team got that dog in them. I feel like Hubert Davis is a hell of a coach. And I'm glad that they didn't give him a short leash the way that it seems like Duke's gonna do Shire, and they don't realize you got to kind of stick it through some tough times. Yeah. And it's not even that tough at Duke, but Duke has high expectations, and it always triples down whenever UNC comes through and crushes the buildings in a sweep, because the pressure grows exponentially, and it's a high pressure job. I'm not saying Shire is a great coach and will have that job, but I'm just saying you'll never know by folding on him so early.
The longevity, right, to actually prove themselves. Right?
And because that's what Carolina people wanted to do to Hubert Davis last year. And, I just don't participate in those discussions. I just don't find, as much as I love Tar Heels basketball, I find the community to be somewhat toxic. Like most college sports communities are very, very fucking toxic to me. And so, but watching the games I watched this season, knowing that these are the dudes that came from last year who had all them expectations, came in as a number 1 seed, were completely blindsided, did not put in the work. I think they thought it was going to be easy because, they went to either the championship or the Final Four or whatever. I think the championship the year before under Hubert Davis in his first year. And it was just like, oh, so easy. It's like, no, them ain't even your players yet. Yeah, you swept Coach K. You ended his career in the tournament. I love it. But that's not the same as winning that championship. And it's just hard work. It's not luck. So, yeah, they look like they work hard. They dogs. They older. They know what they doing. And I hope we win it, man. I'm going to be watching the tournament this year. But, yeah, women's college basketball, I'm going to be watching that tournament, too.
Yes, I am.
Them women is no joke. No joke. Ty Flojan says, I will never forget some people tried to vote these nuts to the White House in 2016.
They did.
2016 was a hell of a year. People not being serious.
Yeah, right, because they were doing like a write-in ballot. And they was like, yeah, there was a news article about it. We played where they was like, yeah, these nut guys. They was like, why would y'all do that?
Y'all wouldn't vote for Hillary and you thought it was cute because you thought she was going to win.
Right.
Steve Irwin ain't trying to tell y'all not to fuck around them Stingrays, says T Music. That's felt 5. Right. Ashley says, Karen, you be knowing nothing in the world can convince me to get in the water with something that could kill me. You're truly WPS, white people shit. The nerve to say and do the things they do is no longer surprising. Steven says, man, there's a video from like 2012 of a brother getting some dome from a white girl, and there's a song playing in the background. To this day, I still don't know the name of that song. See, what you got to do is turn the volume up on your TV and then put on Shazam for your,
it'll let you know.
Now, look, I don't know what the dick sucking was like, so maybe that's not possible. Maybe you turn it up and the whole house just gonna hear. Right. And it's just gonna be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, wrong thing to do.
People gonna be like, what you in there watching? So I don't know, man. Maybe you don't live by yourself. I don't know. Sydney says, no thanks, I'm allergic. No hashtag no nuts. I hear you. CJ says, I mean, I swim like a nigga, but not the whites. Just close enough to view, but not close enough to be Irwin. You know what I mean? I guess, yeah. I don't know the rules of fucking with stingrays, and so I'm just leave it to y'all. And Keith Taylor says, as a black woman with facial hair, I've been using Magic Shave depilatory cream and a plastic straight razor. I'm gonna give Bevel a try now and see how I like it. Well, good luck.
Good luck. I like it a lot. They have like a when I use like the standard straight razor, in that kit you come with like something you can pre do the skin and something you can post. So what I do, I pre do the things to kind of make the follicles easier to cut, then I trim, and then I go behind it with the restoring thing.
All right, let's play a little bit of music so that I can put some commercials in here later on, because you know we need the money. You know how it is, guys. All right. Fit Anal, episode 2871 was the title. Fit Anal. 7 comments. C Baby says, oh wait, you don't need to read this on the thing. Oh, yeah. So I don't know what happened, but when I uploaded this episode, it didn't upload the full thing right away. Someone told me on Twitter. I went back, re-uploaded it. Now the full thing is everywhere. That was just weird, and I have no idea what happened.
Okay.
Someone told me, and that's how I found out. C Baby also says, I was always afraid to use Airbnb because of the possibility of cameras hidden in the home. It's both great and horrible to hear that I was right. Hopefully this ban helps, because no one deserves to be turned into voyeur porn without their consent. Michael says, I agree. But also, I think the kind of people who make voyeur porn and probably don't care about Airbnb rules, probably don't. Yeah, and you'd have to do a lot of sleuthing to figure out if a spy camera's around. They put them in a lot of random stuff these days. Kind of scary. Yeah, I would say. So on a couple of levels, I feel like what's happening is this. You could probably have more of a recourse when it comes to suing people now. Because before they could just be like, those cameras are for the security of my house or whatever. And unless I like uploaded a video you fucking to YouTube or you porn or some shit, how can you sue me? I didn't do nothing, you know. I was just recording what happens on my couch, you know. So I think 1, you got that. 2, there's probably more recourses in the Airbnb universe now to get these motherfuckers off the app. You know, it's like, hey, this person was recording me. And I know it's not like Airbnb is good people. They just don't want the liability. Cool. They know that this shit is a minefield.
Of course.
And it's, you know, the reason I say you just don't, not that it can never happen in a hotel, but this is not some rampant problem at a hotel, because a hotel can never justify recording you in a fucking hotel room without your consent and be like, but it's our house. Like, what the fuck that mean?
Yeah, it's similar. They do the same shit that McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's, how you have like the main thing, and then you have all the independent owned. So homes like quote unquote independently owned, like kind of franchised in. So when the franchisees start fucking up, they can always be like, it's separate. It's like, no, bitch, I come here. It's Airbnb. It ain't Jimmy's house from up the street. It's fucking Airbnb. So you're fucking accountable for what these franchises do, regardless if you want to be held accountable or fucking not, because you're the one with the goddamn money.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. You messing with me?
No, I was agreeing with you.
Thank you.
I'm being a good co-host.
Thank you.
Obvious says, Michelle Obama would be, for me, the American president of my foreign dreams, but I absolutely understand why she doesn't want to run. She was treated terribly, and she was just the first lady. Imagine the racism if she ran for president. Yeah, exactly. Also, like, a lot of the reason that she's the president of everyone's dreams is because we are inserting our ideals into the blank spaces of her, like, persona, meaning there's things we don't know about Michelle Obama, so we all assume it's whatever we think. So just pick an issue, she would do whatever you want her to do, right?
That's not true.
And that's just not what the job of president is. She gonna end up doing some shit to piss a lot of people off. She gonna do things that ain't liberal enough. She gonna do things not conservative enough. She's gonna do things as, whatever. And that by the end of it, it's like, I don't like her no more. Right. Because the power is the thing that makes the person, that for the people that believe in this whole, like, I need to drink a beer with the president type shit.
Right.
It's what makes the president so unpalatable to people after a while, is that they have to make these choices. And the fact of the matter is, if it was your ass, you would be hated.
Agreed.
You could be president your fucking self, and there would be either things you did that you didn't think you'd have to do, or there'd be things that you didn't understand why they're done until you get to office and they fucking take you in some room and be like, okay, so this is why we do this. So I know people been telling you that it's just blank, blank, and blank.
And that's not true.
No,
right.
we do it because it's this the real reason. Now, look, you want to stop that, just understand you're gonna have to deal with the consequences, and the consequences might be dire, and it's gonna be at your fault. It's gonna be at your feet. So, it's just shit like that I think about. But yeah, I don't want to see Michelle run. Evie says, I'm kind of on the fence about indoor cameras and Airbnb. On the one hand, these cameras can be an invasion of privacy and some owners abuse their usage. On the other hand, there are bad tenants and they need proof of the state that sometimes the guests leave these properties in. There has to be a happy medium, but I think this may make the owners charge even more crazy rates. It's just not worth it anymore. I'd rather stay at a hotel. Well, I agree with that last sentence, but here's the thing I would say. Your apartment complex, whenever you get an apartment, if for those of y'all who rent, they do a walkthrough. They don't do 24/7 monitoring with video of your apartment so they can be like, we're taking that deductible. There's a hole in the wall that wasn't in there when you moved in. You see what I'm saying? So Airbnb already got that shit built in to be like, hey, motherfucker, leave a hole in your wall. Here's the recourse through the app to get that money. You don't need the video of them putting a hole in the wall to prove that wasn't a hole in the wall when they came in, and now there's a hole in the wall. You see what I'm saying? Also, for those of us that have used Airbnb, when you first come in, you can take pictures and shit and be like, there's a hole in this wall.
Yep, when you first get
hey,
there.
This wasn't on the motherfucking thing. What the fuck? I didn't do this shit.
Right, and you're not charging me
Hey,
for
your
it.
window is cracked. I didn't crack this motherfucker. Don't charge me for this shit.
Right.
So there's already recourses built in. So I don't buy that excuse of like, man, we got to raise the prices now that we can't monitor you 24/7. What is this, prison? Fuck out of here. Abia says, Russia is definitely not a Christian country. In fact, in the times, old school communism, Christianity was seen as a threat to the system because communism was supposed to be a religion-like. Of course, Christians still exist there. They're mostly Orthodox, but not with the political power they had, for example, in the U.S. If it's not hard to find out, but some need to find out in real time, I suppose. We have a word for that, Abia. It's called fuck around and find out. That family went to Russia and they fucked around and they found out.
Yes, they did.
Abia says, Shoe Booty says, Shoe Booty white, because someone guessed that during the guess the race. Shoe Booty white. She said, no, plot twist, I'm mixed.
Oh, shit.
I hear you. And I would like to give you mixed, Shoe Booty. I even looking at you, your screenshot for your picture, I feel like, there could be some Negro shaking from the family tree. But Exhibit A, you did say you would swim with them stingrays.
So that part must be stronger.
And you was white woman because you was white woman befriending our animals. So I don't know, sis. I don't know if I can support you on this one.
Oh, white.
Yeah. The evidence.
Yeah.
The evidence ain't adding up, Shoe Booty. It's not. Something in the milk ain't clean. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. Then let's see. On YouTube, we had 5 comments. Absurd Spoonful says Rod's face isn't the only isn't the only thing with some new growth. I see that hair growing out, Karen. It looks gorgeous.
Yay.
Yeah, Karen the hair is gorgeous and it is growing out.
Mm-hmm.
And her shoulder wasn't hurting as much because she's been going to a chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
So she was able to like really get in there and grease it.
I was so happy
and all that stuff. So she's been letting it fly on us.
Yes, I have.
And it does look beautiful. Alicia says, Rod, oh my God, you had me dying with the fake mustache. Karen, why you have to call him out? Can he live? Right. Finally, one of y'all on my side.
He gonna get these jokes. He gonna get the jokes. Like
anytime y'all try to make it seem like I'm picking on Karen all the time, just remember her response to that. Ever since I accidentally fucked my mustache up, she's been clowning me the whole time.
I have.
And only Alicia cares. Thank you, Alicia Nicole. You're a good person. Orlanders Jones says, hey, I think that antique shop fumbled the bag. They should have made them buy all of that. Excuse me, sir. You forgot your toys and you need to sanitize before touching my reader. I guess he fumbled something, but I'm not gonna lie. I called the cops. I'm not even trying to make the money at that time. I got to make a philosophical point. No one come in my shop putting things in their ass
and think it's okay.
It don't matter if you pay for it. I know they got the sign you break, you buy. I'm not doing that.
It says you break, you buy, not you insert, you buy.
Yeah, you go to jail. You insert, you go to jail.
Yeah, because even at the sex toy places, you can't test the shit and be like, okay, no, you need to buy it.
I'll be back. I want to try out this vibrator. Nah. My mom says, LOL, Rod's Mario mustache, great show. You know what's funny is I talked to my mom after I came back. I was coming back from the gym, and I had this idea the whole time of like, I'm gonna go to Party City and buy some fake mustaches and wear them throughout the week because I thought it would be funny. And she didn't notice, but I was talking to her in the parking lot of Party City.
Oh.
And she suggested you should get a fake mustache, which, I'm guessing that's why I'm my mother's son, because
the synergy.
I didn't tell her because I didn't want to ruin the surprise because she watches the show on YouTube.
Right.
And I knew she would eventually see it. So I didn't want to be like, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Right.
At this exact moment, I'm doing what you're talking about.
Hilarious.
But that is what I was doing. And so I knew she would find it hilarious when she saw it, just because she had came up with the same idea as I did. All right. And then the next thing is the poll. The poll was Airbnb banning indoor cameras, yay or nay?
Yay.
88% yay, 12% nay. I wonder if they're Airbnbers.
Yeah, like people that rent like do the renting of the properties. I could see that, yes.
Because that's the other thing too. Ideally, the Airbnb thing is supposed to be like, I rent out a room of my house to a person. That's what it was supposed to be. And sometimes it's still that way. But a lot of times now it's like literal landlords and companies taking over, putting these cameras in, treating it like a complete commercial property. And
right.
I wonder if that's the disconnect, is people that are not like that, people that are Airbnbers that have the house or a room they rent out. If they're like, no, I need these cameras, I don't know. Anyway, seems most people did not think you should have them. On the Spotify is 96% no and 4% yes. Let's get into the Q&A, which was Booger Face. This woman got called Booger Face and then she beat up a kid. Keenan says, I have not got to the Booger Face part of the episode as I typed this. Just a Mandela effect certified reality question. Has I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch always been edited, or nah? I'm hashtag I'm high. I've never altered that clip, so I would imagine that from the first time.
For that bitch, I don't.
Yeah,
and it has a beep in it.
Yeah,
I've heard it both ways.
That's my girl Bernice.
I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
So yeah, it's always been edited. I've never changed it. Our girl Sid says Airbnb is cool for retreats and grown friend getaways, but yeah, ditch the cameras. We both know I'm smoking weed in here. It's my house this weekend. We gonna air it out. Don't worry. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. I remember when I was in the Airbnb and they hit me up. It was like, hey, we get reports that there's smoke on the floor you're on. Are you smoking? Do you smell anything? And I'm like, these niggas must have got cameras in here. And I was like, absolutely not. I would never smoke in here. And I was like, let me go smoke on the balcony. But the point was, what the fuck? What's going on in here? Who's snitching? It must be cameras. All right. Then they call back later. It's like, are you jacking off to Reese's Pieces. I was like, what the fuck is happening? What?
Did you just get a virus message on your computer to call a 1-800 number?
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. All right, let's go to the last episode of the week, 2872. Martin Shkreli, Milo Yiannopoulos, and George Santos. 13 comments.
What the fuck we talking about?
Brooklyn Shoebay says, it's Keisha, aka everyone's favorite period power librarian here. As a 19-year veteran of the Brooklyn Public Library, I really appreciate you all supporting NYC's libraries and public libraries in general. Libraries really are more than just places to get free books, internet, computer use, and research. Public libraries are one of the last few public spaces that people can go and not pay money.
Right.
Because of the failing government social safety nets, libraries act as free, unofficial daycare, safe centers for the unhoused, and migrants seeking asylums, recreation centers for lonely seniors, heating and cooling centers during extreme weather, and a place to get city IDs, meet with the social workers, and provide volunteer opportunities for teens that need volunteer hours to graduate from high school. We offer reentry services for formerly incarcerated, ESOL classes, computer classes, resume and career assistance, college application help, and so many other services. We're not paid enough for the amount of secondary trauma we absorb daily and the threats we get from the mentally unstable or political extremists. I could go on, but I had to really rep the importance of public libraries, and thank you for always talking about how awesome libraries are. Girl, no problem. And I feel you, and I agree with all that stuff.
Yeah, we support the libraries, and we will stand for the libraries because the library.
Karen won't even put the R in library. That's how serious she is about it.
Library, because for me, I think because of the personal computers in your homes and things like this, I remember a time where personal computers were not in everybody's home, and the only way I could do some of my assignments, not trying funny, once I got to a certain age, was to actually go to the library and rent out the time and pay per page and all that shit, so I could do my assignments. Because for a long time, until your daddy actually built me my first computer, he kind of built it from like the scraps he had, so I could have like a computer to do my homework where I wouldn't have to go to the library. But prior to that, I would literally, if I had an assignment, I would basically, handwrite it and then basically have to turn around and type it, because they was like, we want it on this paper, this size, and all that stuff. So as somebody who has utilized the library for its service, and a lot of people take for granted that you can go and literally educate yourself for free, for fucking free. This is in other parts of the world. You don't do this, and you purchase and you pay for these types of things. And so a lot of people think just because I don't use service is pointless, and that's not so.
Shoe Booty says library love is more of a whole community support and not just here's some books. I read one library around here has a whole Linden library of things people can borrow, like mobile hotspots, computer equipment, and even different baking pans. My library has a community garden, which is great, but I'm going to ask them about more ADA accessible section for those who might need it. My local library even helped my daughter with severe dog phobia get over her anxiety with their Read to a Dog program, where they bring in service dogs for kids to practice their reading skills with. A good library is a town's best resource for people of all ages. Thank you for your service, Brooklyn Shoe Babe.
I never thought about that. And also, in addition to that, adults that struggle with reading and things like that, adults that, going back to high school, people underestimate these services that they have, and your tax money is paying for these services anyway. And there's a lot of people that turn their nose up to these services. If they read all the shit they would do, they would go get them a library card and fucking utilize those services. And so, and use those services. So when they start passing these fucked up ass bills, you can be like, what you're not going to do is take my service, because they know a lot of people don't utilize it like they should. So when they start slicing and dicing the budget, a lot of people just shrug their shoulder like, I get it at home, bitch. That's not so. Some of these services you cannot get at your house, nor can you afford the services.
Michael says, as an autistic, I could really use some of those video game instructions in real life. I usually make do just fine, but my stress level would reduce 99% if I knew they'd be reliable instructions or helpful NPCs in every new situation.
I'm trying to tell you, I would love that. You walk in there and all of a sudden everybody give you hints. So all of a sudden you have the random animals sitting there with like the glow of God on them. You're like, I think this is where I need to go. Okay. All right. What's the mission? And you can just kind of maneuver through life. Or, when you accomplish shit and do the right thing, you're going in the right directions, like arrows on the ground, or, just something, I would love to be able to to do like you can do on video games. All of a sudden you change the screen. You be like, I need to go to to the store, and you look up. You be like, oh, the store's over there, and you can walk your ass over there to the store. Just and I know that might sound crazy, but I think for some people it will make the world not as much of a hectic place as it is.
I agree, and I think a lot of stuff in life kind of replicates that. Like a person at a kiosk in a mall is basically an NPC that helps you navigate the mall.
I didn't think about that, but
your phone screen is kind of the directions and stuff that you get a lot of times in the video game. On the map, you can literally pull up the map app and be like, that's where the store is.
Yeah, and those like kiosk places, I've actually used them. I haven't used them in a while because you don't really go to the mall like that. But yeah, I'm like, now where am I supposed to go? And now it's so confusing for me. It can be confusing because they have like these things that stand up and you touch it and it tells you where it is. But sometimes the pictures is hard to read. Like you're like, okay, now where am I? Why is that lighting up? It don't make sense. Like it doesn't really explain to you what it is. And if you're somebody that's older and not tech savvy, you walk right past that bitch roaming around when you could just tap on it. And it should be like map here or use this here. But they assume that everybody walking in the store understands that this big ass electronical thing that look like a mirror is a fucking map.
Let's see what else we got here. Ramsey D. Jenkins says, I'm sorry, 5 stars for the episode. I'm glad you both shouted out Russell and Sierra. I root for their love. Yeah, I mean, listen, release the sex tape. Okay, we all want to see it. We know what it is. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they're a beautiful couple, and I think a lot of people kind of glommed onto their story because, especially with Russell getting so much weird hate, it just makes them more sympathetic figures where it's just like, hey, I really think y'all are tripping about this dude. So yeah. Appia says, dear Karen, I love you. I know you don't want to hear it, but you are not really that old. I'm 1 year older. I can hike for 4 to 5 hours in the mountains with no problems. I could do 2-minute planks at least. In the last year, I learned to do the yoga crow for 2 seconds only, but still. I don't think I'm special at all. It's all practice and taking it step by step and staying with it. The body can learn new stuff and improve the function after 40 if you want it to happen. I believe in you and know it's true. It's fun to see how much you can improve.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, Karen likes being old.
I don't know why I'm like this. I've been like this since I was a kid. Like all jokes aside, y'all. Since I was a kid, I remember when I was in middle school. People used to call me an old lady in middle school. Like I don't know what it is. I just been old.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either, but she's
probably because I was raised by old people and everybody around me talk old, so I just kind of pick up on their language and they slang all the old folks. And we're just like, well, I guess it is what it is.
Jew Booty says you hit the nail on the head regarding food deserts and the lack of accessibility. The U.S. has a problem with walkable communities or even bike-friendly communities, suburban and rural areas. You're set up for failure if you don't have a car linked directly to getting affordable food. My town has a King supermarket and a fresh market, neither of which are affordable. What if I didn't have a car to drive me to Walmart or ShopRite? I'd be screwed because even though I'm still in the same town, it's still not walkable to get to the store. Growing up, poor family with 1 or no cars, my brother and I would walk with my mom when we were little to help carry bags of groceries home, a 2-mile walk for us. This problem comes from the fact of cui bono, who benefits. Who benefits? And there's always shareholders who are benefiting from these problems existing, and no one benefiting from solving them and creating a better quality of life for the community. Yeah, and I feel like that's where government steps in and where government does their job, and why corporations and neoliberalism can't solve everything. Not to turn into Cornel West, but it's why you need solutions that aren't based in like corporate structures and stuff, because at the end of the day, corporations are always worried about profit and shareholders and reaping a benefit and cutting costs and doing things at the cheapest way possible. And this, it's like when people say stupid shit like, let's replace libraries with bookstores, and you're just like, you don't know life, shut the fuck up. Right.
And also what's been happening too, to contribute to what they're saying, you've had this because up north, that's what they call a northeastern area up there, New York, New Jersey, New England, all those areas. a lot of those places over the years, the cost of living is high fucking everywhere. But up there and out of California, the cost of living is literally skyrocket quicker than the bulk of the country. Like everybody else is high, but they shit was already high and just got higher. And a lot of them are migrating to places down south and Midwest. Like they're migrating from these larger cities to a lot of these rural places and a lot of these large cities down south. The problem with that is, particularly if they come from areas that are pedestrian friendly in these big concentrated areas, and they move down here where people don't give a fuck about pedestrians because everything is like driving. So you have to, it's like a culture change. Because they've done studies where they was like, yeah, a lot of more people are getting hit down south because you have these people who come down here a lot of times. They don't have vehicles. They don't have cars. They don't understand the transportation systems doesn't work. They don't understand we don't have subways. They don't understand that these areas did not have these infrastructures for a walking cities. Like we're just not walking. And so what they're having is some cities are actually making laws, but like you can't turn on red no more. And people are like, why? They was like, because y'all are hitting people. Because, you know, when you are in a driving city, nobody really walks. So you just like, okay, I'm going to turn red. But now you turn red, motherfucker, a bitch might be walking. And they just like hitting people left and right. And they had to do this thing called a don't block the box, which means you had to tell people don't block the intersection with their vehicles. Because now people are actually using the intersection and walking around the intersections and shit. And you're like, basically your car is in the middle of like a walking path for somebody. So now somebody has to walk around you and shit like this. And a lot of these people, which is a good thing, they're demanding that they have more walking shit. They're demanding it because they actually need to utilize it. But a lot of these places are fighting against it. Why? Because now you're asking them to change the infrastructure of their cities. And a lot of them are not wanting to nor willing to do that. You have places down here in Charlotte that used to have like tons of lights. And now all of a sudden they got rid of all the lights and just made it a fucking freeway. And okay, now I have to walk 8 miles before I can fucking cross. Like there's no crosswalks, there's no pathways, particularly on Independence Boulevard. People are actually getting hit because they're like crossing. They're like, I don't want to walk 5 miles. I want to cross here. But you don't have infrastructures over top of the highways so people could just walk over the highways. And so it's like, these are the consequences of a lot of these people moving down here, making these demands on the system that was not ready for it.
All right, let's go to the Shoe Booty's next comment. One more for Ocean's 13. Reginald Wait, hold on. What did that have to do with the food deserts though?
Because the person was talking about,
I know they were talking
them
about
having to walk everywhere and stuff like that. It was like, I have to walk everywhere. They was talking about the infrastructures and things like that. And my thing was, in addition to what they're saying, a lot of the walking that people have to do, because they were talking about the walking stuff, a lot of addition to what the walking people have to do is because these places aren't designed to make shit walking friendly. Because they would say if they had cars, they was like, oh, I have a car, so I have to drive, to these places and things like that. But if they had the infrastructure where it more things within walking distance and they didn't have to drive as far to get to some of these places, it would make a lot of this easier.
Okay. All right. Shoe Booty says one more for Ocean's 13. Reginald Vale Johnson will play the older guy, former cop, Officer Winslow, the man on the inside. That would be funny if he was working security at the at the casino. Justin says, I think the white politician that Karen was talking about was Madison Cawthorn, the white young man in the wheelchair who said the Republicans were having cocaine sex orgies and then somehow video him doing something sexual with his cousin was released. Were you talking about Madison Cawthorn?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think I speak fluent Karen. She was talking about George Santos.
Yes.
EVE says, Rod, how dare you? If Queen Karen doesn't want to Google, she does. Well, see, EVE. This is shit I be talking about.
You're making his fake outrage.
Why do you want to be on this side of the equation? I don't know what's wrong with you, but something wrong with you. I got to do an accurate show here. But yeah, if Queen Karen doesn't want to Google, she doesn't have to. That's what you're there for. Besides, Milo, George Santos, and Martin Shkreli are all just different sides of the same piece of shit. Karen was on fire this episode, especially she was roasting that 52-year-old spring breaker. When she said, I bet his knees buckle when he walks, I lost it. Brooklyn Shoe Babe replied to this and said, Karen was on fire. I could not keep track of those dirt bags. I agree. Obvious
There's too
says
many of them.
those guys are all similarly awful, but even as white men, they look very different. Love this segment, all the stars. Tootie Tar says, "Hey, Ryder, Karen, it's ironic to me that my first episode back listening after a couple weeks, you mentioned Coco Brown and her fire is good. She has Tyler Perry. I need my own Tyler Perry. Late night on February 29th, my neighbor had a fire that destroyed their unit. We got all of the smoke damage as a result and also lost everything we own. Ooh, damn, you can lose everything from smoke damage. That's crazy.
Right?
We literally only had the pajamas on our backs. I didn't know that severe smoke damage was equally as bad as fire. You still lose everything. Me and my kids spent 2 weeks in a nice hotel and are now in a new empty unit starting all over again. Please increase your renters insurance policies, people. Trust me, it's never enough when you're literally starting from zero. Happy to be back. I miss y'all, Karina, aka Tootie Tars. Tootie Tars, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Right?
And that is crazy. And yeah, that I guess that is a warning to everybody looking to your renters
Insurance.
insurance.
See what it
Good
covers.
grief, I didn't know it could be that bad.
Right.
And it wasn't even a fire in your place.
Right. I ain't know the smoke was like, I get you too.
Yeah, I guess now it hits different when someone say you want the smoke.
Come on, do you want the smoke,
Like,
bro?
absolutely not.
No,
Not the smoke or the fire.
I don't want smoke.
Sean says, I walk out of my local library Saturday afternoon, put on my headphones to listen to a podcast on the way home. What are y'all talking about? Libraries. Libraries need to be open every day of the week. They are one of the best uses of public funding and need to be given more, not less.
Agreed.
Let's check the comments on YouTube. Quite a few. Yo boy with the plug says, hey, is this everybody's homeboy from Karen Hunter show series 126? This is TJ El Paso, aka your boy TJ with the plug. Thank you, TJ.
Thank you, baby.
And yeah, that was funny. He called the show and said I was America's homeboy, and I appreciate that.
Oh, that's sweet.
Jay Houston says, you're going to get these jokes in word. Karen is hilarious, roasting you until your mustache grows back. And I'm here for all the jokes. Excellent episode as usual. Thanks for posting here. You two are my friends in the car on these long A flights. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Those come over, fit right in. She's also from Karen Hunter show.
We love Karen.
Hunter crossover is real, man.
Mm-hmm. We love her. And also, it's one of those things where I know Roger can take the jokes. Like if I knew Roger couldn't, I would not do this. But I know Roger can take the jokes. So
I just cry in the dark in silence. Like
he does not. He don't think twice about it.
I go in the closet, when she's asleep and she can't hurt me anymore.
Don't you tell these people them
and
lies.
I turn off all the lights and I just kind of cry to myself. And then I, say, all right, get it together. Show a strong face.
Show a strong front.
And keep a stiff upper lip. Go out there and just be you and shine.
Like, I am not picking on you.
It's different levels of abuse is different relationships. So people just have to live with it.
This is how we function.
The people gaslight you. They pick on you and say, I'm not picking on you. But they literally are picking on you. People keep leaving comments like this person is picking on you. And it's funny that they're bullying you. And then they go, but I'm not. So
I'm not.
Thomas says, very correct on shrink in these food deserts. Why don't a gang of business go in together and build? Yeah, it's just so weird because, like, I can't divorce it from racism. And I mean,
right.
Honestly, on a lot of levels, infrastructure-wise, city building-wise, all that stuff, the resources government puts into certain areas and all that stuff. But also just pure, plain, like, racism. It's like how when it was time for like CVS to close stores, they would close them on the black side of town, but they wouldn't say it was about profit they would go because basically black people be stealing. It's like they be stealing. And it's like, do you have any facts to back this up? And a year later, they come out and go, well, we don't have any evidence that there's actually theft. And then when the actual newspapers look into it and stop taking the press releases and the shareholder calls as facts, you find out that there's not this epidemic of theft going on.
Y'all got cameras everywhere.
Despite what they have let run in the press. And it's just, it's hard for me to look at that and not go, this is the reason this is just racism. You don't need to lock up razors in the black community any more than you do in the white community. But somehow it just happens. It just keep happening to us.
Agreed.
But Jinxful says, or maybe it's just Jinxful, says to all the all black heist movie should be called Ocean's 50 Levum.
That's Hilarious.
Yes, Ocean's 5011 is definitely, that's the title. Yes, that's genius. Gina says, I was wondering where the show title came from. Yeah, and so is Karen because she didn't know any of their names.
I sure didn't. I was so shocked at y'all.
Let's see. The poll was Trey Songz meet and greets disgusting and offensive, or that's their business.
That's their business, honey.
78% of the audience says that's their business. 22% think it's disgusting and offensive, and it's the exact same percentage on Spotify.
Okay,
So
and I'm not spending my money. So
yeah, honestly, I'm that's their business.
mm-hmm.
That's really how I feel. Is Tyler Perry to the rescue was the Q&A. Alicia says Karen going off on that young man who was merely enjoying his spring break away from his wife, kids, and other adult responsibilities had me dying at my desk. He got a hot back, took me out. Took him out too.
Yes, it did.
Thaddeus says the toasted monkey. DJ Freedom says Karen is so freaking funny. That bad back comment nearly took me out. I agree. She was cracking me up. Sometimes I prefer to do the show while high because it slows my brain down and I'm able to be present more than just going to like, oh, next comment, next segment, next. I got to look at the next news article. I got to cue this up. And Karen's talking and I'm just like, I'm hearing her, but I'm not able to fully process and be able
trying to show
to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But then when I'm high, I'm like, I have no choice. I can't do two things at once. So I'm just in here cracking up. Sid says Trey definitely gives Robert and Diddy once you start adding stories up. I don't want to meet nobody like that. I don't need proof in the court of law to know when to steer clear. Yeah, and the thing with people like that is, if the allegations are true or not, people treat the shit like, well, if they're not doing it to everybody, then it's just not real.
Right.
And what I think some people do is go, if he ain't do it to me, and the odds are very low that at the meet and greet, he just gonna lose his fucking mind and start doing all the stuff he's accused of.
Right.
I'm gonna go see him. And also, I think there's an allure that certain people have with this idea of the bad boy, the dude that will do that kind of shit, that toxic shit. And some people, they love that kind of shit, and also if they like your music and they think you're attractive, people will make a lot of rationalizations, a lot of excuses to be like, this ain't as bad as y'all think it is.
Yes, they will, all over the place.
So I think all those things combined with Trey Songz, and we end up getting, the people that's like, but he good, and they go into the concert, All right, let's see. We have no voicemails this week. And let's do some we could do doing it for the gram. Let me pull out my doing it for the gram music. Boom. For the gram, 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 for the gram. All right, so the doing it for the gram was just a picture of us at a picnic, Bitmoji. And it said, what's something you did for yourself recently that future you will appreciate? Do it for the gram.
Oh.
We got plenty of comments. Let's get into them. Harriet Gunn says, we live for now. Future me will be glad to have the stories to tell and the memories to keep me warm at night. Absolutely. Like, I feel like that's still, that's definitely still like future. You will appreciate that. As somebody with anxiety, sometimes I have to do stuff that I feel a little uncomfortable doing, but I know later on I'll be glad I did it. And it's just pushing myself out the door for that first level of discomfort is the thing that's like, oh, okay, like this wasn't that bad. I mean, y'all heard me. I was scared as hell to go to New York, and do good game theory and all that stuff. It was not my dream or something I would have chosen to do of my own volition in that way, but it felt like, hey man, this is a thing you do, and you look back and be like, I'm glad I gave that motherfucking shit a shot. And I would never have known, like, I should have said, I would have never had it affirmed how good I was at writing and comedy and all that stuff in a real way. And so, I did it for the future. I did it for the stories. I did it for now. but it does keep me warm at night, and those memories do keep me. So yeah, absolutely. Shonda Tries to Sew says, got on Ticketmaster notification for the Hans Zimmer live experience coming stateside this fall. Smart. Hans is that he one of them ones. I think Hans Zimmer and them did the Doom music and
what did they talking about them in concert?
Yeah, what she said, yeah, it's Hans Zimmer live experience. So yeah, I guess concert or something.
I bet you that'd probably be fun.
Miss Barnes says, last Sunday I cleaned up the house, took dishes out the dishwasher, took 2 muscle relaxers, and went to bed at 8. The next morning when I got up, Apple Health congratulated me on my 8 hours of sleep.
Oh shit, not the full 8.
Listen, it's rare. Brooklyn Shoebay says, I planted butterfly attracting seeds on my balcony. I also met with the personal trainer at the Y. I felt encouraged. That is dope. Congratulations. Johnny PhD says, enrolled in watercolors painting class.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, can't wait to see what you cook up. Undeniable Vixen said, I have maid service come every 3 weeks as part of my new self-care routine. I'm so busy, and to come home to clean a clean house and new sheets on the bed makes me happy. Oh, absolutely. Tanya says, started getting on the stationary bike for 30 minutes before work. Yep, future you'll appreciate it. Yeah, all the exercise stuff is wild because it's so incremental. It's not, like, don't let them motherfucking Instagram videos, them reels fool you.
Scare you, right?
Not scare you, fool you. Okay. Where it's just like they show a nigga lift one weight and then they fast forward 12 years and the motherfucker is Vin Diesel. And you like, what the fuck happened? And they're just like, don't give up. And you like, wow, I just got to go lift one weight. Nope. It's a struggle the whole time. They don't be taking that video every day. They don't be posting that motherfucking bike ride every day and be like, I was 3 seconds faster than I was a month ago. Right. That's when the work is happening.
Yes, sir.
I digress. As y'all can tell, I've been getting a lot of that fucking Instagram inspiration porn. It's getting on my goddamn
flooding down your timeline.
Bring the butts back. Instagram. Right, I don't want to see this shit. Right, I'm looking for thick women's. Nope. That's it.
You getting the thickness. They go, I was thick and I was small. Let's go. That's what you get.
It's actually discouraging. I want to be able to pick them up, not have them in my life.
I don't know who made that song, but that's that motherfucking jam. That you were like, okay.
I don't know that song.
You don't know the one that let's go, and they just start. You hear this beat, and then all of them just like be running and shit because the beat is fast. Yes,
I don't know that one, but yeah, I've just seen so many. I mean, I don't even listen to the song.
I don't even know the fucking song.
Soon as I see his inspiration, I'll be like, no, I don't. Show me the reverse.
Show me the reverse.
Anyway. In January, Alexandria.
You mean the reverse cowgirl?
Well, not on Instagram. Anyway, Alexandria says, in January, I got serious healthcare news. Now I've been on my game when it comes to my health. I'm building a medical team, tracking my overall mental and physical health. My best friend even became my accountability partner to check on my progress. That's dope, man. Aww. And that's tough because, like I said, that's not the shit people really share on social media unless it's like inspiration porn. They don't share like, yo, man, this was an L or this was something bad or, and also I think because we're so divided on everything now and people try to turn micro into macro, they turn individual into community. It's the thing I talked about a while ago where I'm like, where that one person was like, oh, if someone loses weight and posts a picture, they're telling you as a fat person, they hate you and they don't want to look like you. And I'm like,
that's not true.
We have to stop projecting that shit onto everybody.
Agreed.
If we're going to say autonomy is autonomy, how people feel about themselves and their bodies is what matters the most, then we have to let people cook, And I think, so much happens individually. Like in that doctor's appointment, it's not on Instagram, it's not on TikTok, they're not posting that on Twitter. So that's something you have to deal with individually, and you have to focus on. And so I think, especially as we all get older, those of us with the luxury to be able to go to the doctor and shit,
ain't that true?
Shit changes. For me, it was just, I literally have not been able to be as active as I was before the pandemic. I was playing basketball 4 to 5 times a week. I was fat. It's not like I'm not, it's not like I've never been fat, but I was fat, but my numbers was fine. You know what I mean? Like they was like, all right, well, cool. Look, all the shit that we're checking when you got a piss in this cup is coming back good. But then, 3 years of inactivity, like doctors like, hey, this thing, and this thing. It's like, all right, well, look, I gotta tighten up. And mostly I've missed being physically active. I've missed feeling strong. I've missed those things. And so, and literally my body physically was not ready to play basketball. I told you I played ball and failed like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was like, now part of that was because I did the sled and a bunch of leg shit, but it don't matter. I would have never fallen 3 years ago. So I was just like, oh God, I'm at the bottom again. But you got to push it and build it back. So, but yeah, whatever, that's dope, and I want whatever people want for themselves is what I want. So
Agreed.
If that's something you focused on, more power to you, The Gal 704 says giving some medical treatments a chance. All right, give it a chance, sis. Flix Chick G says, listen, because that's the other thing about medical stuff. You can be in denial, but it ain't changing the problem, or just not trying to, like, I know this happens a lot too for mental health stuff, right? Like you get meds, you go on the meds, you don't like the side effect, it's affecting you in the ways that you didn't want. And so what does so many people do? I'm just off the meds. They don't say I'm going back looking for a different medication, different dosage, because all that stuff is part of the equation.
Yes,
and it's work to find that thing for you, and it may change over time and stuff.
Because your needs change as you get older.
Not just your needs, but your literal brain chemistry can change. It can, but the point being, you have to give it a chance, man, because if not, you're just kind of sitting down hoping it go away, and it don't. Flix Chick G says, for me, it's always the little things like randomly getting more oat milk or granola, having no clue how much I have at home, and then surprise, future me is damn near out, but past me was like, I got you. Yeah. I do love an accidental overpurchase. That's the right thing to do. I also hate when I guess it, but like I'll be like, I'm out of deli meat, and I buy the deli meat, and I get there, it's like, here's some unopened deli meat in the fridge already. Peaches says, hired a cleaning lady, love my clean house, and I'm not the one cleaning it even more.
I think that's true. I don't blame you.
Our girl Tiffany Cherie says, work has been severely understaffed for the past few months. So I've been struggling to get back on track. We're going to the gym. We've been working approximately 10-hour days on average. By the end of the day, she's not going to the gym. So on a whim, I got up at 4:30 a.m. to go to the gym. I surprisingly am adapting to it really well. I hate working out, but it's what I got to do to meet my health goals. So doing it at 4:30 a.m. gives me adequate time to sleep before and come back home and go the fuck back to sleep. Oh, that's clutch. If I need to, listen, I never thought of that. That's clutch. The idea of like going early so you can go back to sleep before going to work.
That's actually really
I learned
smart.
something new today, Tiffany. There's no telling how long this pace at work is going to hold up. So I decided to restructure. Turns out I may actually like this routine. I'm not a morning person, but going to the gym and returning when it's still dark gives the illusion that it's still nighttime. So I'm excited to feel like I'm not letting my job get in the way of my goals. Yo, that shit is real difficult and tough, man. I know, especially when when you have to leave the house, go somewhere else to work out, then come back home, leave the house, go somewhere to work. That shit is a lot, man. And if anybody that got the effort and ability to put that in, like, good for them, man.
And it's hard to keep up, because at one period of time we were doing that, but it was hard to keep up. I think one time we was waking up like at 5:30, working out, like walking around the neighborhood, coming back, and then I would turn around and be to work by like 7:30. Like that is a lot.
It was a lot, and we did it for a couple months, but it wasn't something I felt like I could keep up forever, And also at the time, because I played basketball at night, I was doing that, then playing basketball. And the reason I did it at that time was because my back was hurting. And my back, I don't know what I did to hurt my back at that time. It just was hurting. And it would hurt just like staying for like 30 minutes. My back would start hurting. And I was like, well, maybe it's a weight thing. If I lose some weight, my back, maybe it'll take stress off my back, because I just want to go back to playing basketball. And having a cooked back is impossible to play basketball. That's Ben Simmons. And I would be like playing basketball, my back would start tightening up. I had to lay on my stomach like motherfucking Steve Nash. It sucked. So I just didn't want to feel like that. So I just kept walking. I thought, well, I'll lose some weight and that'll fix everything. And honestly, I did lose weight, but I don't know if that's what fixed it, because like soon as my back stopped hurting, I started playing ball all the time again. So I think that's why we dropped it, because I just wanted to get to playing ball. Anyway, DJ Java says a couple of months ago, I made sure I went on a walk at least once a day. Having a dog was a great incentive to get out the house. I started going for a 30-minute walk. Now I'm up to 90 plus minutes and I feel great. I'm sure my future self will thank me for that. Yo, that's dope.
That's dope. And not all jobs, but a lot of jobs, particularly since they quote unquote, a lot of them want people to come back to work 5 days a week and shit like this. Some companies either do something more like a gym membership discount, and some places actually, like, we have a gym on site. Like, you know, at the place I work at, they actually have like a gym on site with like showers and everything where you could. So a lot of people come in early, shower. A lot of people work out during a lunch break, shower. Some people work after work to kind of make it convenient for you where you can kind of get it in and go to one spot, like Roger said, versus 2 separate locations.
Roger that says laundry, fold it and put it away on the same day.
That's a goal.
I mean, goal. I do that all the time. You know, some people don't.
As you can tell.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the people that don't. Absolutely. I'm in LA for the NAACP Image Awards, says June. Wildly outside of my comfort zone because I can't walk home when I'm over things. It isn't what I care to do, so I'm enjoying the experience. Yeah, and I mean, let us know how that works out, because I mean, LJ Williams, obviously huge in the NAACP. I believe her podcast is up for another, a radio show / podcast up for another award. I saw her put her pictures on social media, obviously stunning as always. And June is like Ali Shaheed Muhammad in Tribe Called Quest. Like, if you see LJ doing something, June around.
Yeah, she might not be all up in the videos, but she is like around. She's like out of shot, out of frame, but you know she's in the vicinity.
Not that she don't have her own stuff going on,
right?
You know, she's in the streets as an activist. She's helping like people in the community with housing and all that stuff.
Does a lot.
But it's just, if you see LJ, just assume June somewhere. So I'm not even shocked that you out there in LA. I hope you enjoy it. You know, I know it's not New York, you know, but sometimes you gotta break up the monotony and whatnot. And I hope you have a good time if you're able to attend the award show. Eso Rar says, went for a walk. It's really important to me to get back consistently with closing my Apple exercise ring and continue to lose this weight. All right, now
I might get 2 or 3. It's hard to get all 3 of the rings closed.
Yeah. I do it if I go to the gym. I definitely would do it. If I go for a walk, I can do it. But yeah, I forget but also, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I do not, I'm not a slave to this watch. Meaning, I'll take this bitch off after I'm done exercising and be like, shit,
I've done that before.
I'm really just tracking when I exercise, how long I'm doing it for. And I'm not tracking like, you need to stand up again. Like, I'm good. Not, you know, like I'll be standing up. I'm good. You know,
like, you up yet? You get up, bitch. Like, you're still sitting. You up yet?
Like, this motherfucking watch it's so much notifications and shit.
It'll be like, breathe. They'll be like, bitch, I am breathing. Like, no.
I turned all that shit off.
We need for you to breathe in your nose. I think I turned that off too. I got tired of them notifications. I was like, what about breathe for what?
Yeah. I listen, you have a job. I'm basically using you like a Fitbit.
Yes.
And if I go out to the movies or something, then your mind like, oh, I'm getting a notification and I don't have to turn my phone off. Anyway, Lay Love says, Ozempic. I'm down 30 pounds. I have a long way to go, but dropping that weight helped improve my stamina and help reverse my diabetes. Hey, congrats. We love to hear it. And yeah, and like the thing with the Ozempic stuff that's funny is people being like mad about it, but I don't understand what they want. It's like they're mad people are fat. They're mad if people take Ozempic, which is actually for like diabetes and stuff, or Wegovy or any of this stuff. They get mad like you're doing it the easy way. What the fuck do you want? Stay out of people's motherfucking business, bitch. It's not about you. You know what I mean? Like, why is everything so goddamn judgmental? No, stop asking people questions. They won't have to trick you. They won't have to lie to you. Stop making people feel bad about everything, and people can be more open and honest. It doesn't work the other way, where it's like, you can't be like, listen, you fat bitch. What you doing to lose weight, you fat motherfucker? And it's like, diet and exercise. That's what it better be, motherfucker. You better, goddamn.
Right.
Y'all mad at Lizzo. Lizzo runs circles around all of us. It's crazy. It's fucking insane. But anyway, congratulations. And I think that's dope. CV Ursi says training for my next race, Broad Street run. It's always hard to get started, but I know I would definitely appreciate it in the finish line. Tootie Torres says back to drinking more water. I had fallen off, but now I'm back to it. Yes. Drinking that water, minding my business.
Staying hydrated.
Jay Full said I started weight loss programs that K-Bass did from a High Five starter. It'll be 1 month in Sunday. I'm down 24 pounds. My clothes already getting baggy. Damn, congrats. That's crazy.
Way to go.
That's fast. Think Pretty Smart says saving to set up my own endowment at my alma mater. $100K now paid across 4 years is cheaper than what will be well over $40K a year for each of my 7 so far nieces and nephews when their time comes. My endowment doesn't automatically mean they go free, but those who get it. Yeah, that's beautiful. Listen, we all need a rich auntie. That's all.
Child.
They the best. We all need one. Back in therapy, says Friday Fairy, but I know future me will be better for it. Yes, absolutely. The mind too. Eve says started a savings for my trip so I could ball without a budget. Yes.
That's been on my list too, because I've been looking at some places. Because me and your mama talk about getting older. We got like a list of places that we kind of want to go, and they actually have like groups where they like, hey, we just do black women. Like everybody going, this bitch is black, everybody black. Every organization is black. We just gonna go to these places, and like a lot of shit's included. Like I've been looking at like a lot of different places, and they travel like all over the world. So I've really been considering like one of those, like picking something in the future and just saving up for it and just be like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, like I said, future you being able to ball out on vacation, you gonna really be thankful. Bam Bam Cam says I made a commitment to walk for at least a mile a day. I'm already reaping benefits. Dope. That's where I started. Like I walk slow as fuck, dog. It's not. It's really not changing. I've always walked slow. Like when I say incremental, I mean literally. Like, oh, okay. I used to be 30 seconds slower than this, but it's still slow as hell compared to everybody else. But you just get out there and do your thing. I remember one time there was a sign at the Y that was like, you shouldn't necessarily measure your distance, and you shouldn't measure like how many laps or whatever. It's like just measure the time. Like keep your heart rate elevated for 30 minutes. That's really what you're trying to do.
Regardless
keep your heart
of the
rate
speed,
elevated for 45 minutes. Like don't just look at it as just a distance thing. But I had to start with a mile. So for me at the beginning, it was distance, and then after a while it became time, and then it became like, okay, so if 30 minutes is basically me walking a mile and a half to a mile and 3/4, that's good. That's what I can do. Shell Bell says committed to running my first ultra marathon, 50K. Oh, it hasn't been the easiest to carve out time for training with work, husband, and 2 young kids, all with busy schedules, but I try to remind myself that I take on a lot to make it possible for them to enjoy their hobbies. I'm equally deserving of enjoying my own hobby too. Absolutely. It's just crazy that your hobby to me is work. You like, yes, I need my fun. Mama need to run her 50K. Okay. Mama got to have a life of her own running 50K.
You going to be out there with Mary. Mary, are you part of that one too? I know Mary, you're going to be walking in. Mary going to wave at you.
Def Not Yoda says, started making myself and my health a priority. My CPA's dress says, Jessica says, I messed that name all the way up. Anyway, daily walks in my neighborhood after work. Sorry about that. JR Nicholas says, got into golf and took some lessons. Yes, get a new hobby. Love golf. That seems fun. That's at least it was fun on Tiger Woods. Arleba says, started taking my mental health more seriously. I don't let myself get burnt out by work, and I feel like it's going to happen. I learned how to manage my stress level and how to de-stress in a healthy manner. Yeah, absolutely. Because if you get stressed out about work, you die. They just gonna put another thing in that cubicle.
Child, yes. When I realized that, my whole life changed. I was like,
my whole life has changed.
Yeah, like your eyes will be open, and
Mhm.
and particularly when you see how they treat people and what happens and the shift and stuff when you're impacted by people leaving, shit like that, or finding other jobs, or even dying, you'll be like, oh, this is the reality. I'm not special and I'm not unique.
Knitting art says increase most of my weights during my lifts this week. Gotta get and stay stronger so I can age in place in this house with all these damn stairs. Oh yes, not the stairs. Yeah, I've been doing that thing too, where like from week to week it's increasing the weight on the weights that I'm learning to lift. But my trainer's not doing like what they call like the vanity. It's not like they say men do a lot of vanity lifting. So it's like I need to be seen lifting as much weight as possible. So if I walk in the gym and I lift 400 pounds one time, that need to show you motherfuckers. And she ain't training me like that. It's a lot of like weight that don't look sexy, but it's like I'm lifting this bitch 400 times or whatever. I'm lifting it not 400, but like 48 times. Or she showed me some CrossFit shit this week. Oh my god!
Not the CrossFit. Was y'all in the hits area of the training?
I don't know what hits is. She didn't show me that, but
high intensity workout.
Okay, well, it was some shit where like you gotta like take the bar, squat with it in the front, and then stand up and then lift it over your head like 8 times. And it's not weights on the bar, it's just the 45-pound bar.
Woo!
But that's a weird woo. I'm saying the bar is not. The bar is not heavy. 45 pounds is not heavy for me to lift.
Okay.
But when you do it that many times in a row with that many quick movements, I was sweating by the end of that. Like 2 times in, I was like, shit, I gotta do this 5 times. Like, and then of course there's other things you do between the sets. But yeah, and some weeks it's like she already showed me the movement and the exercise, and then she's like, okay, let's put 10 pounds on this. Okay, let's put 5 more pounds. Okay, next week do what we did here, but add some more weight to it. And I've been doing it, and like I said, it's been very rewarding to see like, okay, my body can do this. I'm strong. I'm getting stronger. And every week is a struggle because it's supposed to be, but I just look at progress. Like if I had to only do what she taught me the first week, I would kill that shit right now. Like that would be nothing to me right now. I'd be like, oh yeah, knock that shit out in 20 minutes. I go home. But now I'll be in there like an hour, sometimes 2, depending on what she got me doing. It's like, yeah, this is the challenge. Iman ubiquitously said, made appointments to get my hair and nails done at the end of the month.
Let's go.
Yep, you will appreciate looking fly. Reg Al says, I took orientation and mobility training to learn how to use my Eddie cane and skills that will allow me to cross streets and navigate more safely and confidently. It was a big step because it was very public. Most of my coworkers had no idea I was visually impaired, but now I can do more things for myself and by myself, which is huge. Shout out to independence.
Let's go. People underestimate like these things and things that can help assist people. And when people do things, people go, well, that's stupid. You go, no, it's somebody that's actually assisting from these things. And because you don't have that problem, you just ignore it. So baby, I shout out to you, and I'm happy that you can be more independent.
Cut back on my gambling, says KSR. Broke. We ain't got it. Yeah. Future you will appreciate having that money.
Yes, they will.
PhD 15 says went to bed on time. Shout out to that.
Come on, child. Shout out to bedtime and being like, nope.
Landor says, I got myself a raise at work and started trying to eat healthier and cut down on drinking. All right now. Your liver will thank you. D the Great says join the military for the 0 down home loan. You right. You definitely gonna future appreciate that 0 down home loan, because the military, I couldn't do it. Mars 9R says cut back on drinking sodas. Shout out to you. It's tough. Okay, them sodas be good as fuck.
Don't they though?
And that's everything for doing it for the gram. We actually got to it this week. For the gram. Last thing is emails. We got a lot of them now. Aaron says Hey, Karen and Rod, some episodes ago, y'all talked about the California mall that had put restrictions on teens because there was a big brawl. I know someone who works there and got the actual story. There was a screenshot of a screenshot of a screenshot of a screenshot of the kids organizing to go to the mall and raid the store, steal merchandise, and wreak havoc.
Oh, no.
They had to have help of all the nearby police departments, and thankfully no one got hurt and no stores were harmed. The rules are now every Friday and Saturday after 3 p.m. If you're under 17, you must be accompanied by an adult. They have several checkpoints at the parts of the mall, but the mall is so big that some people will slip through the cracks, and lots of people won't know the rules. I believe it's just more toward the kids to know they could possibly get sent home.
Right.
The thing I found impressive is that the kids organized to have about 1,000 kids to come to the mall and stage this raid. Like, those organization and planning skills could be put to good use.
Right.
They can definitely put it on their resumes, just phrase some of the details differently. That's hilarious. Nichelle says, Happy Women's History Month. Rod and Karen, I bought the book you mentioned, When and Where I Enter by Paula Giddings. Coincidentally, I heard about this great documentary about Pauli Murray, which is streaming on Prime Video. My name is Pauli Murray. She was a Black woman who did so much. Pauli Murray is like a real Forrest Gump because she was everywhere in history from the 1940s to 1970s. She knew Eleanor Roosevelt, RBG. She was a law professor, poet, Episcopalian priest. Have a good week. Yeah, Pauli was bad, and Pauli is interesting as a character, as a person in history, because Pauli was definitely genderqueer, but we didn't necessarily have the words and the terms of today back then. I believe she actually was in the men's lawyer school at Howard back when Howard wouldn't allow women and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember off the top of my head if I don't know if Pauli preferred different pronouns or not. I know some people refer to her as as a trans man, but obviously Pauli wouldn't have had the words to advocate necessarily for that in that specific way, in the way that we're talking about pronouns and stuff of today. There's no put this in your bio at the time.
Exist.
But Pauli was the person. I didn't know. I want to be like the woman, the man, I don't know, but him, her, what Pauli was way ahead of their time. I'll put it that way. There you go. I think that's proper. Preaching to the choir, Rigo says, I immediately thought of you and Karen, the importance of voting, and thought y'all would find this interesting. And it's the Chicago Sun-Times. Taxation without participation, low turnout lets slim minority decide ballot questions hitting voters' wallets. So yeah, people not voting in their primary, people giving up on whatever, thinking it don't matter, people feeling disenfranchised, whatever it is. A study found that less than 30% of registered Cook County voters determined the fate of 75 property tax related referendums between 2020 and 2023.
Woo!
So when you think it don't matter, it's literally coming out of your pocket. And when you're wondering why shit costs more, or why you getting your taxes went up, or the value of your property and your car went down, it's because of shit like this, and people just not caring. They know. And you're gonna blame the politicians, but it'd be us. I know this from somebody crazy. All right, Jeff says, I don't know how that didn't go into my idiots folder. I don't know what I was thinking. Jeff says, hi, Rod and Karen. You just mentioned Don Lemon last week and wondered what he had planned. Well, Elon booted him. Waiting to hear your thoughts on the air. I talked about this with Karen Hunter a little bit. She was more up on it than I was because he had just recently done an interview on The View that I haven't seen yet. But it was what I said it was going to be. I think we may have talked about it here too, but yeah, it was exactly what I thought was going to happen with him. You can't trust Elon Musk. And now look, from my understanding, some of the clippings I've seen, some of the stuff I've heard around it, it sounds like Don Lemon was prepared for Elon to be Elon, and that he kind of put himself in a situation where, hey, if this doesn't work out, I can always use this promotion, use the eyes on my product, use the sensationalism the way Shannon Sharp has done, and go do my own thing on YouTube or whatever, and I'll still get the eyes and the attention. It seems like Don Lemon probably really wants to be in the public zeitgeist again because I'm sure that he felt that he was unceremoniously and unfairly ushered out of CNN. And listen, if he's the Don Lemon that had been on the CNN the last few years, I'm cool with it. I'm not saying I'm tuning in every day, but I thought he was a lot better the last few years than he was back in the day when he did that I Smell Some Weed and Ferguson shit and that
list he did.
That list for Bill O'Reilly. Like, I feel like he's come a long way since then, and I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. But yeah, I would never trust Elon Musk unless I got my money up front. And even then, I would still think a scorpion's gonna sting me in the back when we cross that river.
Right.
But yeah, thank you for doing what you do for us, says Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Dawn says, hey, Rod and Karen. I just wanted to pop in and say thank you for truly helping make all my days better. I usually listen when I'm running around in my car. Today, I decided to find my inner Rod and Karen and go out for a walk. I leashed up the dogs and headed to a local park. Mid-walk, I had to stop. I was laughing so hard, even my dogs were concerned. Forget about the neighbors wondering if I had been hanging out with the New Orleans Rats. I laughed so hard, my stomach was aching. Nope, don't mind me. I'm just laughing along with Karen. You see, I'm white. And Karen, I too cannot tell the difference between these white men.
I'm sorry, y'all. They are always like, shit, there's too many of them.
So go ahead. Just keep asking Rod because it makes my day. Google is overrated. Rod, for the record, I'm sure my husband worries he will need to take care of me in my later days as well. I appreciate the laughs and all the content. Keep it up, Dawn. Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Yeah, people love Karen not knowing. And lastly, this is from Mimi from Brooklyn, who says, Ocean's 11, The Blackening. Hey, Rod and Karen, big fan of the show, and I love to see all your success throughout the years. I had to throw my picks in for the Black Ocean's 11 cast as follows. Sterling K. Brown, George Clooney, Brian Tyree Henry, Brad Pitt, Tika Sumpter, Julia Roberts, Zendaya or Tiana Taylor as Yin, the contortionist, Queen Latifah as Bernie Mac, Lupita Nyong'o as Matt Damon, John David Washington and R.J. Kyler as Casey Affleck and Scott Conn, Danny Glover as Elliot Gould, Lawrence Fishburne as Carl Reiner, Lakeith Stanfield as Don Cheadle. Sidebar, did you know that Cheadle had his name removed from the cast list due to disagreements about compensation? I did not know that. Anyway, I think this will be an awesome movie. Shout out to Karen for making me laugh hysterically at work when she talked about the grown-ass man getting arrested at spring break. The hot back comment took me all the way out. Love y'all, Mimi from Brooklyn. Thank you.
Thank you.
It took me out too. I'm still out. Okay. And thank you for listening, everybody. That's it for today's episode. We appreciate y'all.
We do.
We'll be back throughout the week. And yeah, until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.